We shall now go to biofuels. Production of biofuels involve the use of a range of crops, for example, oil seeds, wheat, and sugarcane, or any other, to produce fuel used to produce energy. There are several methods of producing biofuels. The first one involves burning of biomass directly. For example, you burn wood to heat water to turn it into steam, and then the steam is sent through a steam turbine, which then generates electricity. The second process involves gasification of biomass. Here, a biomass gasifier takes dry biomass, such as agricultural waste, and with the high temperatures and the absence of oxygen, these materials produce synthesis gas that can be used directly in homes or industries. The advantage of using biofuel is that it is infinite as long as people continue planting crops, and it is very cheap, and the resource can be grown locally. And the emissions that are produced during the production of biofuels is much cleaner than petroleum-based fuels. However, burning of wood may release greenhouse gases, for example, carbon dioxide, and this could cause air pollution and global warming. Large areas are often deforested to grow crops for energy generation, and deforestation is one of those causes of climate change. The other thing is that if crops are used for energy production, it can lead to an increase in food shortage and a rise in the prices of food. We also need to note that biofuels have very low energy output than traditional fuels like petroleum and coal. Geothermal energy is our next type of renewable energy, and this involves the use of steam from reservoirs of hot water found below the Earth's surface to produce electricity. The steam rotates a turbine that activates a generator which produces electricity. The hot water can also be used directly in industries and in homes. This form of energy is advantageous in that it is a clean, renewable form of energy with low negative environmental impacts, and the facility for power production in this case occupies a very small land area, and it has very, very low maintenance costs. This kind of power can be produced constantly since it is not dependent on the weather. However, it has some disadvantages. For example, not every country has geothermal potential, and installation and startup costs are very, very expensive. Drilling of the ground to insert pipes can let out harmful gases, for example, sulfur dioxide, and this could lead to air pollution. The geothermal activity can change sometime, which may put the production of energy to a halt. You also find that potential sites are situated far from where the power is needed. I want you to think about this. Suggest why countries are looking to develop renewable energy. Let's move on to our case study for today, and this is the Three Gorges Dam. This dam is a hydroelectric gravity dam that is situated along the Yangtze River in the town of Sanduping in Yiling district in Hubei province, China. This dam is the largest hydroelectric power station in the world with a production capacity of 22,500 megawatts of electricity. It is over 2.3 kilometers wide and 1.8 kilometers tall, and it was completed in July 2012. So remember that for a case study question, you have to have a small bit of introduction. So location and some details of this nature are very important. Its location was picked for various reasons. One of them is that the Yangtze River, being the third longest river in the world, offered a huge hydroelectric potential. And the river valley of the Yangtze is very wide and flat, which made construction of the dam very easy. This area also has a bedrock that is very firm and with limited cracks, which means that the dam was going to have a very strong foundation. At the site where the dam was going to be constructed, there was a small island in the river channel which made it easy to create a diversion channel during the construction. Also, despite the fact that large parts of China are seismically active, the area around the dam or the area of this site has not suffered any recent major earthquakes, and that gave guarantee that the dam will not be damaged in case an earthquake happened. You also need to note that the dam was constructed in a way that it can withstand an earthquake of 7.0 magnitude on the Richter scale. The surrounding areas also had huge population, so it was very easy to mobilize workers. Some of these places, I could mention Chongqing, which has a population of 3 million people. So I want us to go ahead and look at the cost-benefit analysis of the Three Gorges Dam. Remember that the word costs relate to the disadvantages of the dam, while the benefits obviously relate to the advantages. I want that by the end of this discussion, ask yourself whether this undertaking was worth it. Benefits, or you could call them advantages or positive effects. Number one is that the Three Gorges Dam controls flooding downstream. Water is held by a 600-kilometer long reservoir with a storage capacity of 5 trillion gallons of water. It also provides water for domestic use in urban areas and for agriculture, especially irrigation in the surrounding farmlands. The dam generates 15% of China's electricity demand. Of course, the power here is used in households, industries, and other businesses. The dam also has decreased China's dependency on coal, and therefore their greenhouse emissions have greatly reduced. Thousands of construction jobs were created during the building of the dam, and thousands more in the maintenance of this very huge dam. It has improved inland water transport in China. For example, ocean vessels today are able to travel inland for up to 2,000 kilometers to the city of Chongqing. The dam is also a major tourist attraction that attracts people from all around the world and has created many tertiary sector jobs, for example, in transport and in hospitality. We also need to look at the fact that the electricity that is generated by this dam has boosted economic development of the cities, for example, the Chongqing, which has a population of 3 million people. Now, let's turn to look at the costs or the disadvantages or the negative effects of the Three Gorges Dam. Several large towns upstream, for example, Fuling, which has a population of 80,000 people, Wangxian, which has a population of 1.4 million people, have become flooded with a reservoir. And ancient temples, burial grounds, and other historical sites were covered by the 600-kilometer long reservoir, and this means that the country lost its history. Over 1.24 million people from 140 towns, for example, Gaoyang, were relocated, but with very little compensation to start them off in other places. To make matters worse, much of the land used for resettlement is over 800 meters above sea level, where the climate is colder and the soil can barely support farming. The pressure created by the huge weight of the water in the reservoir could trigger earthquakes at any time. But like I said, this dam was engineered to withstand an earthquake of 7.0 magnitude on the Richter scale. The untreated human and industrial waste are not able to be washed downstream, but instead stay and pollute the water in the reservoir. Of course, they are blocked by the dam. And areas downstream have been deprived of fertile sediments because much of the sediments are trapped by the dam upstream. The construction of this dam was very expensive and still is the most expensive dam ever built. It cost China 26 billion US dollars, which means that money for other projects could have diverted to construction of this dam. Like I said, ask yourself if the benefits of this dam outweigh the cost. If you were the decision maker, would you have gone ahead to construct this dam or you'd have left it? There's a question I'm leaving behind for you. Try and see how to apply the knowledge from this lesson. Please leave any concerns, any questions, or ideas in the comment section, and I will reply as soon as possible. I will see you in the next lesson. Stay safe.